Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm going to go over just a little bit of old news, but I'm going to do the same thing I like to do in general with the tweets. I pull some together and give you a little rundown so that you can figure out what's going on without having to go through and search them all up yourself. Hopefully this is helpful to everybody, or at the very least entertaining. What we have here from the 27th of April is a tweet from the Quartering, where he has tagged the FBI and noted that this is a threat towards somebody else, in that they are offering $20,000 to make this dipshit disappear. And in this case, the dipshit would be Grummz. Apparently, this person named Tone Man, who I believe at this point has been removed or privated, I'm not sure which. Apparently he is very upset about the campaign to free Stellar Blade. Now, this was the first step in a multi-step story, so keep this in mind and we will move to the next. At 7:02 p.m. on April 29th, Grummz tweets, Twitch streamer at Denim's TV ups my bounty to $30,000 while reacting to Asmongold's video about Tone Man's threat against me. This is getting out of hand. This should be a permanent suspension on Twitch and X. Also, the FBI should be looking into this. Now, it is true that these type of threats can be considered a felony. I believe there's a little more to it, like you have to prove that there's actual intent to go through with it. There has to be, I think it's something like a reasonable assumption of threat or something. That doesn't make it right, though. Now, from what I understand, she also referenced something about making breasts bigger and added Asmongold into the thing and said whoever did it had to do all of them, and very much not playing it serious. But again, just because it's not serious doesn't mean it's okay to talk that way. And while I am a free speech advocate, that doesn't mean people can't criticize you or you can't get in trouble for the things you say. Now, on April 30th at 5:45 p.m., apparently a fellow named Gremlo decided to raise it to $50,000. I have no idea what this ass coalition is, but apparently Alyssa Mercante also DM'd him. Now, if someone was, I don't know, particularly vengeful, this could look like some form of collusion. But in the end, getting a little ridiculous. $50,000 in a joke about removing somebody else from life. Not the happiest and shiniest of things to be doing, huh? And that brings us to today, May 1st, at 4:07 p.m. I will be honest, I am not a huge fan of the acting over dramatic about the threats, but I do understand where it comes from, and since I am not the one receiving them, I absolutely do not believe I have a lot of room to talk about it, because everyone, when they're the person who's dealing with it, gets to deal with that in their own way. And I don't necessarily disagree either with the way Grummz is handling it. I can understand why he's doing it. When are online threat jokes acceptable? Let's clear up the rules here. All of you say she was just joking. Let me know the guidelines, please. The test is if I can joke the same way about you. And we all know that. That's the trigger, isn't it? Let's think about the number of times. I mean, even Mercante was talking about the death threats she was getting. And not that she backed them up. Those were all debunked. Black Girl Gamers, same thing. It seems like when the people who are, and you know what, I hate to say it because I am one, but specifically women, have a tendency to, when they are in trouble, when they are being confronted with the results of their own actions, they have a tendency to stop and say, oh, look at all these threats I'm getting, whether or not they're actually getting them or not. And that's wrong. For one, it diminishes the people who it actually happens to. For two, the whole boy who cried wolf syndrome. But the bigger issue is the fact that for some reason, when it happens to them, it's a bad thing. When it happens to someone else like Grummz, or even women who disagree with them, it's fine. They don't care. As a matter of fact, I wasn't going to go this direction in this video, but now that I thought about it, I'd saved a few other threats, but apparently had gotten rid of them because I'd scrapped the idea for this video. But back when the female custodies issue dropped, Miss Conrad Cruz here was disagreeing with the whole thing. She is one of those who does not believe that there should be female custodies, and she is an avid 40K player. Because of this, of course, she got called all sorts of names. She actually appeared in my video about it, where she changed her name to Pick Me and funny things, and she did receive a number of actual threats in that time. This is just one of them, saying, hoping you get beaten and arred like her soon. Subversive, quote, based, unquote, traitor women in this space like you are worse than the feminists attacking you. Now, that specific woman died in a very horrific way. So that is a very obvious threat towards somebody. But you know what? Nobody got all up and hot and bothered because it happened to her. The woman pictured here is Junko Furuta. She was a Japanese high school student who was abducted, assaulted, and murdered. Her case was called the Concrete Encased High School Girl Murder Case, since her body was discovered in a concrete drum. The abuse was mainly perpetrated by 4 male teenagers. The perpetrators' sentences ranged from juvenile detention to 20 years in prison. The crime has been described as the worst case of juvenile delinquency in post-war Japan. It was an absolute awful event, so to wish that on anybody is completely disgusting. But again, when it happened to her, nothing. When it happens to if it genuinely happened to Alyssa, they would have a whole up and down tirade about how terrible we are. But no, this kind of thing just falls by the wayside, which brings us, or well, maybe not the last series of tweets. We started with, when are the online death threat jokes acceptable? Mighty Keef, who you might recall from the Zhao stuff, said not a single person said death threats were acceptable. They are just saying you are dragging the issue and making it seem like people are really out to get you, when beyond the first guy, everything was clearly jokes. So he's saying that jokes aren't acceptable, but for some reason them clearly being jokes means what? Class? Nothing! Good point. Thank you. The Grummz responds to this 5 hours ago. How do you square the first and last sentence? Not a single person said jokes were acceptable. Followed by, they're just jokes, bro. Tired of these word games. Tell me the rules, Keef. Then you have Mischief Enjoyer. You can make your position clear that death threats, even as jokes, are not acceptable without LARPing as a man fearing for his life. What he is saying is not contradiction. And I'll be honest, I don't feel that Grummz is really LARPing as a man fearing for his life. I don't think that he actually fears for his life, but at the same time, he is playing up the same type of dramatics that we see. I don't want to call them the left, and I don't want to call them just generically the other side. And I really hate the word woke. It's so overused. I need to come up with a new name for them. If you have any new names for these other people that isn't the left, woke, or just them, because that just sounds, I know I can be a conspiracy theorist, but them is the government, and maybe it is them. No, beside the point again. Where was I? He's just playing up the same way they would. Finally, Grummz says, I'm sorry, I don't accept that argument when time and time again we are told that characters like Eve are literally going to get women killed. I'm applying the same rules over much more serious words. And he's correct. I personally am tired of hearing that every beautiful woman in gaming is going to cause women to die. What, gamers are going to see an attractive woman and go on a murder spree? Press X to doubt, please. It's so ridiculous. Also, no, women aren't going to go off and remove themselves because they see this gorgeous woman that they can't ever achieve to be. I get that there's the studies and stuff out there that say women like to change things to match them and men like to try to aspire to be them. I hate to tell you this, guys, but that doesn't go across the board all the way on either side. It's kind of an individual thing. Yeah, women do have slightly more of a tendency and men do have slightly more of a tendency, but realistically, there's a spectrum across both sides. Women aren't going to go and harm themselves just because they see a beautiful woman. Now, some of them are going to get upset because they take it personally. They seem to think that the existence of a woman more beautiful than they are means that they have to go all evil stepmother and try to kill her. But those are low confidence women. They need to get over themselves. A more beautiful woman means one of two things. A, you need to go work out, or B, you're going to have to get better personality. You can't all be beautiful. But some people just have to get by on a kick out, and that goes on both sides. Men are more likely to strive to achieve the physical fitness characteristics, but there's some things you just can't do about your face. But now that I've revealed myself as a terrible misogynist, this is true. This is so true and so irritating. Video game women, gorgeous video game women aren't going to cause harm to actual women. All it's going to do is keep men playing the video games. And it'll keep women playing the video games too, for that matter, because despite being very straight, I like looking at pretty women. I like looking at gorgeous women. I don't mind a bouncing pair of tits. I don't. I find them interesting. I find them relatable. Let's be honest. If I am running, I am also bouncing. Therefore, I can relate very much to that. A woman with large breasts that don't bounce makes no sense in my brain, and I'm sitting here thinking, what's going on here? What kind of bra is she wearing? Where can I buy one? But all that said, I've gone off on a weird wandering tangent. Let me know what you think of this. Do you think Grummz is overplaying it? Do you understand why he's overplaying it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave it down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.